Hello, guys. I am so excited for today because today I am going to an early screening of the new, highly anticipated by me and the rest of the world, horror movie, Weapons. This is the new film from Zach Krieger, however you say his name correctly, by him. Infamous for directing and writing Barbarian. And now he is directing and has also written Weapons. I'm sure you've seen the trailer. It's been everywhere. This movie, the script was in a bidding war that ended in, I think, $36 million paid for the script, which is crazy. The script better be written like Shakespeare. The script better be A Tale of Two Cities, The Scarlet Letter, etc., etc., Moby Dick. Like, this script better be Pulitzer Prize winning. like, what could possibly have been written down on those pages that made them spend $36 million? And, like, they can't cut me a check? Anyway, so I'm super excited. A long time ago, when I was in my influencer era, I was invited to an early screening of The Nun 2. Horrible movie. But the early premiere in Austin was really fun. They had some scare actors in the theater dressed as nuns. They gave us merch. There was a photo op, stuff like that. And this time they are doing the exact same thing. The same company sent me an invite. And I was super excited when I found out because this is my most anticipated movie of the year. The screening is taking place at a high school, which is like a big part of the storyline of Weapons revolves around a teacher in her classroom. And they said there's going to be scare actors or there's going to be immersive experiences, photo ops again, there's going to be merch, there's going to be stuff, and then obviously I get to see the movie early for free. Feeling blessed and highly favored this morning. No, but anyway, I'm super excited for this movie. I did love Barbarian. A very polarizing movie, very scary movie, very weird movie, very strange movie, but I did like it. I thought it had interesting tone. It had interesting tone shifts. Well acted, well scripted, good storytelling, good scares, original horror. I really, really enjoyed it. But looking at that movie and this movie, I want to, before I see it, because obviously I'm seeing it in a few hours, so I haven't seen it yet. I want to talk about some things that I'm expecting, hoping for, and some things that I've already really enjoyed so far from the marketing material. Also, this is going to be completely spoiler free up until a certain point, and when that certain point comes, I will make sure to let you extremely well know so that you do not need to get spoilers. This is a safe place. Anyway, so when I first started seeing things drop about this movie, and obviously when the first initial teasers started dropping, we didn't actually know what it was because they just released a lot of little clips that were very like analog horror inspired. It was like, security cam footage, house cam, ring camera footage of like kids running down the street like they do in the trailer and like whatnot. They were very nondescript, very highly stylized, very analog, very found footage. And this made me very excited because I have wanted a resurgence of analog horror and found footage really to just come back in full swing. We haven't had it since like the early 2000s really living large, and I think we could get some really interesting new takes on analog horror and found footage. Now, this movie is not analog horror or found footage, which is one thing that I'm a little bit sad about. I'm hoping that they'll surprise me and include some analog or found footage sequences in the movie like they did for the marketing. Hi. My camera turned off for no reason. Anyway, so I hope that they include some analog and found footage style stuff, even though I don't think they will. I think they just used it as an interesting marketing ploy, interesting visual, which was interesting. It made me excited. But It's all about sticking the landing. It's all about delivering on what I'm excited to see. And so there probably won't be anything analog in the movie, but I'm really hoping there's at least one sequence of something analog or found footage, and I'll be happy. And then thinking about expectations or things that I want to see from this movie based solely off of Barbarian. I would really like Weapons to have less of a comedic and campy tone. I love Barbarian because it is so sinisterly ridiculous. It's very horrific, but it's also very unserious at times. It's very campy, and I love that about that movie. But if they try and pull something similarly as ridiculous and kind of unserious, I'll be disappointed, because this movie seems to have a much more darker tone. And if it's the kind of dark that Barbarian was, where it's dark but laughable, I'll be disappointed. I really want something poignant, something horrifying, but also original and very serious. I want a serious, I want this to be the new Hereditary, the next Hereditary. I want it to be serious. I want it to be metaphorical. I want it to have deeper meanings, deeper plot lines, because as much as Barbarian was unserious, campy, and silly at times, that played into what they were trying to do. The movie is very smart. Barbarian is very smart. And so I'm hoping that same level of smartness is applied to Weapons, but they use it in a different way. I want to see them use their smarts to make a statement, to make a point, to show us something really deeply horrifying and unsettling, but very serious. So I'm really excited. They have teased so many things in the trailer that just make no sense. We have no idea what they mean. There's that whole part of the trailer where there's the salt line that they cross. So I'm getting something paranormal from that, or curse related spell, whatever. But then there's also the part where they have the bell, right at the end of the trailer, someone rings a bell. And I'm like, what is that? I've seen some people online saying that they think this is going to be metaphorical about school shootings. Which I could see that from what we've gotten so far about it. And I would be down for that if it was done in a way that was, handled well. But I also have this feeling that there's going to be some kind of Pied Piper aspect. I don't know. Maybe that's just because the kids and whatever. And the bell is giving me oh, they ring the bell and the kids come to them a Pied Piper song or whatever. Don't know. We don't even have enough context around the movie from the trailer to even make theories, I feel like. Anyway, I'm really holding out hope for this movie, because a lot of the movies that have come out this year have been good, not great, very mid. This was the year for mid. And I'm really desperate to have another movie really wow me, because not many have. Many have been enjoyable, but not many have been outstanding. So I'm really hoping that this will be that. But I'll be back in a little bit after I've seen the movie. We will discuss spoiler free, and then we will discuss some spoilers. So I hope to see you later. Ciao. Hello. Don't get it twisted. I'm wearing the same clothes, but this is not the same day. And we're going to get into that. Not why I'm wearing the same clothes, but why it's not the same day. So, first of all, I'm so tired. So we're going to get through this together, but it's going to be a little unhinged because I am exhausted. Next, I would like to say that this whole next section will still be spoiler free for the movie Weapons. So stick around until I tell you to go. Okay, thank you. Now, need to address the elephant in the room, which was, you wouldn't even know this, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell the truth. And the truth was that I missed the premiere. So Me and my friend did not make the early screening premiere. We had tickets reserved, but they started giving away tickets if you didn't collect them by a certain time, even though when I got them, it didn't say that. Anyway, et cetera, et cetera. We were making perfect time. We were going to get there in plenty of time. And then in front of us on the highway, someone got in a wreck and it cost us 20 minutes. And they had given our tickets away when we got there 5 minutes late. Really, really fun and exciting. No, it was super sad. And me and my friend definitely trauma bonded. We're joined for life, in trauma and in pain. But anyway, so I was able to, in my busy schedule for this weekend, make some time to see the movie today. So this is Tuesday. This is Thursday, the 7th, when I saw Weapons. And I'm going to come right out and say it was amazing. It was spectacular. We're not going to talk about spoilers yet. I want to so bad. Really amazing, really well acted. Acting stood out very much so. Special shout out to, I'm going to be so vague and non-specific, but special shout out to a certain kid in the movie who, in my opinion, is the best kid actress or actor. Anyway, the best kid actor of our generation. Like, I haven't seen a performance so good from a child actor since The Haunting of Hill House, and I might have liked this one better than any of those kids, which is crazy because those kids were unreal in The Haunting of Hill House. But this kid was also as unreal. Next, what I will say is the script worth $36 million what it was sold for? Yes. Next question. This movie is going to be interesting. And what I mean by that is I think there's a secret little empathy good person test hidden in the movie. If someone says the movie was mid and the characters were shallow or they didn't get the point of the movie, I would inquire that you consider that person might not have empathy. You might want to do some exploration and some digging into that person, and see what's going on up there, because I really think the script was amazing and it was a litmus test for empathy, human empathy, but super unique for horror in a day and age where we're getting a lot of horror that feels repetitive. This was very unique. I've never experienced a movie like this before. Very much like Sinners. It was just a once in a lifetime experience of a movie. It was done so masterfully. Could have had a better soundtrack. There wasn't really a soundtrack. In the last part of the movie there was, but most of the movie was pretty silent. Scary, but I love a good music. What else? I'm trying to think of all the things that I want to say and can say without spoiling anything. It's funny how it had like actor jump scares, because from the trailers and things, like, I was not aware of the entire cast list. I guess I never looked at it. So people showed up and it kind of gave away that they were going to be a main character somehow in the future, because like a super famous person would say like one line and they'd be like, oh, that's Timothée Chalamet, and he's saying one line and going away, so he's going to come back later. It wasn't Timothée Chalamet, but like things like that happened. I was like, oh, I recognize that very intensely popular actor in this seemingly small role, and he immediately went away, so he's probably going to come back. So that was kind of funny, because there were a couple moments like that where I was like jump scared by the cast by knowing that they were in the movie. The other thing that I will say, and I'll get into this more later, but when the antagonist of the movie was revealed, the instant they spoke, they became a cult classic character for me. They became horror royalty for me. Instantaneous. It was unreal. I was truly floored by how quickly they captured my every bit of attention, and like I'm ready to sit the antagonist of this movie right next to Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. It was that serious. It was that serious. The opening, because in horror we've come to expect certain things to happen in the opening. Or, a lot of people try and reel us in right at the opening. Slashers, there's usually an opening kill. This opening was definitely pulled you in. It definitely was a moment that was significant to the story and was a little bit like a kill sequence, but it was done in a much more interesting way and in a way that I haven't experienced before. And I loved it. I just felt that way about the whole movie. I loved it. And it was so unique and satisfying and just a fun time. I laughed a lot. I was scared. It was scary. Oh, this is great for me to talk about without spoilers. It was scary. Yes, it was scary. But it was more tense and thrilling scary rather than jump scary and horrifying imagery scary. To me, the scariest movie I've ever seen is Hereditary. And that's because the images that you see in that movie are so... People watching audio only are like, what? But yeah, Hereditary, the images are so frightening that that's why the movie is so terrifying. And this movie had one or two really terrifying images where Hereditary has 30. But it was very tense whole time, start to finish. And people said that about Longlegs, Longlegs was tense start to finish, which I agree it was tense, but this movie to me was a little bit more tense than Longlegs. Just because it had more moments of long, drawn out sequences of dread and tensity. Tensity? I wanted to say tenacity, but that's not right. I don't know if tensity is a word, though. I feel like it's definitely not. Oh, tension. Moments of tension. I told you I'm tired. Tensity. Anyway, it was scary, but to someone who's seen a lot of horror, it definitely was not one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. And that's okay. It was a different type of horror movie. Was it still a horror movie? Yes, 100%. 100% it was still a horror movie. But it definitely was not as intense as some of them. And again, that's okay. That's okay. I don't need every movie to be Hereditary. I hope every movie is as good as Hereditary, and this one was. But it's not the same level of, oh my God, I cannot believe my eyes, in a disgusting, terrifying, horrific way. And that's okay. That's okay. Also, before we get into spoilers, I will just blanketly say that I loved the ending. Because I know people are going to be talking about the ending. It's going to be polarizing, I'm sure. I loved it. But I really don't think there's anything else that I can say without spoiling. So I'm gonna spoil. So if you have not watched the movie, this is your sign. Take the hint and get out. Because this is definitely a movie that you want to go into blind as possible. Do not rewatch the trailer. Do not engage with anything. Just go watch it. Thank you. Spoilers starting now. And what a perfect place to start with, the marketing. I'm going to say this and it's going to sound like I'm being critical, and I am. But it did not reflect poorly on the movie itself. It's just me expressing a gripe. I am so tired of this misleading marketing. Okay, we have had this happen several times in the last 2 years where the marketing of a movie has presented it to be one thing and it's been something completely different. And I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to reference the first time that not the first time, but one instance where this was done recently, and it was done so purposefully and so incredibly that it benefited the movie. That's going to be Parasite, by Bong Joon-ho. I think that's how you say his name. Please let that be how you say his name. That movie was marketed as a horror film. It was not. It was a very introspective comedy drama with some very few horror elements. But the marketing of it as a horror movie to then you sitting in the movie and realizing what it really is was a way that they actually made the movie better and the movie watching experience more enjoyable. And it actually added to the story that you had come into the movie thinking it was going to be this, and then it was something totally different. So ever since then, I feel like we've gotten a lot of kind of misleading marketing. Even Longlegs did this. Not as much as this movie did, but Longlegs was like marketed so crazy, like it was going to be so dark, so disgusting, so just like, and it was, but it was not, again, it was not at a Hereditary level of like crazy, which is what it was advertised to be as. And there's several movies that have done this in the last several years where they just have misled you with the marketing, and this movie fully did that. I think the marketing was so misleading as to what this movie actually was. I loved what the movie was, but kind of like I said in my predictions, I wanted it to be more serious, and I thought it would be more serious. It was more serious, but it was very comedic, and now I'm seeing that that's just the director's style, and that's the type of movies he makes. They're always going to have this comedic, unserious undertone when necessary, and I appreciate this movie as opposed to Barbarian, where it did have much higher of a level of seriousness and much more consciousness of when to use the comedy and when to use an unserious moment rather than just kind of all over. So it definitely was more serious than Barbarian, but according to those trailers and according to that marketing, you would have thought there was no comedy in the whole thing. And so that's kind of what I was thinking I was going to get, was something very, very serious. And it was serious, but just not as serious as the trailers made them out to be, and not as dark as the trailer made it seem, and not as horrific as the trailer made it seem. And I get it. It's marketing, and the marketing worked, and the movie's good. So I'm not mad, because like we all got tricked into seeing it, and it is amazing. But I strive for these people to just stop luring us in with a promise they can't keep and with an experience they can't uphold. Because going into the movie, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. Like, I was truly scared that it was going to be really scary for me, who's seen so many horror movies. And that made me excited, but it made me scared also. And then like it didn't scare me very much, like at all. Like it scared me a normal amount, but it was not anywhere near the scariest movie ever or anything like that. And again, all of this to say about the marketing and all of this to say about how they packaged it does not make the movie any less good, but I'm just fed up. I'm just annoyed. I'm tired of it. Can we please market movies correctly? However, I will say, marketing, they did not give too much away. They gave exactly what they needed to away for you to be engaged. I commend them hugely for that, because most movies cannot do that, and they did it very well. Now I want to talk about the killer, the perpetrator, and I'm not going to say that much. I don't have that much to say, except she's iconic. She's iconic, immediately iconic. I love how she was slowly introduced by just seeing her very recognizable silhouette. Her wig. Oh, did you say wig? Wig. Yes, I felt that immediately. What is wig? It's not for you. It's for us. I need to queen out with Deborah or whatever her name is. Wait, what is her name? Um, Wait, what is her name? It's not Deborah, but it's so close. It's something kind of Karen-y like that. Gladys. Gladys, honey. No, but yeah, I loved how Gladys was slowly introduced. You saw her not up close, not in detail. You were like, who is that? And again, she's so recognizable. And character design, A plus. You know how hard it is to get something truly so unique and original in horror when it's a killer, when it's an assailant, when it's the person responsible. We go through the same tropes over and over in horror when it comes to who is behind all this. And this was so refreshing and such a unique take on a character. Her characterization was amazing. The directing was incredible. The script was incredible. The act, everything, costuming. Yeah, so I loved how we slowly got to see more of her, and then all of a sudden we had everything. Like the scene when she goes and has the parent-teacher conference with the principal, and she sits down, and you know that that's the who's sitting down, and then she starts talking, and you get to know her character and how she talks. I had my hand over my mouth because I was like, I cannot believe they pulled this off so well. And I love her. From the instant she sat down in that chair to have the conversation with the principal, instantly horror royalty, horror killer royalty. Amazing. So well done. Very scary, very eerie, and in a unique way. Now, I will say, at the end of the movie, when she started to grow a little bit of her hair back and it was like all down and they kept showing her from the back, she looked exactly like the old woman from X, Pearl. I didn't like that because we have had a lot of like old people are scary trope. I do think this movie did older person is scary trope way better than any of the other ones, because that wasn't really why she was scary. She just was old and sick. So it was way better. But when she looked exactly like the old woman from X, I was kind of like, all right. Like when she had her hair braided up and when she had her wig on and when she was like doing more of that gig, I liked her a little bit more. And since we didn't see her like really old looking that much, and especially just really it bothered me at the end when she looked exactly like Pearl from X. But otherwise, like, it was good. It was perfect. And again, it was the most well executed, in my opinion, like old person is scary trope that we've had recently. So it's not even that much of a big deal. Anyway, the ending. The ending was really fun and really satisfying. And I do feel like, as much as the ending was very emotional and very tragic, it really was one of the happiest endings we've had in like a significant scary horror film in a long time. In my opinion, all the kids survived. I mean, they're physically alive. The teacher, the dad, huge win. The kid, the parents, huge win. Like, they're alive. You know, the parents are permanently disabled and like mentally gone, and some of the kids haven't spoken, and everyone's traumatized. That's the point. Hello, that's the point of the movie. But the fact that they just are alive and people walked out of the situation is so great. Because usually, I mean, we get a final girl sometimes, not always, but like usually one person survives. But the fact that just like so many people survived, and really the only people that died were like, well, I guess the principal was fine and the drug addict was fine. He was a criminal, but he wasn't like a terrible guy. The cop, I will see you in hell. He is rotting. And I was glad. I was glad to see him dead because he had it coming. What's the Taylor Swift song where she says, "No body, no crime"? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, he deserved it. But I was happy to see some people walk away. That really excited me. And the ending sequence of the kids chasing her through the neighborhood is just it reminds me a lot of The Substance when the crazy meat lady walks on stage and spews blood at everyone. It's the comedy that's in horror, and it's the laughing as a coping mechanism to something insane. And it was amazing. I wanted to stand up and clap. It was awesome. Also just the way that it was like the kids getting revenge. I mean, it's satisfying to watch as a viewer and to see the kid be smart and successful. I love a movie where the characters are competent and everyone felt very smart and competent. No one was making stupid decisions. I mean, they did some crazy things that maybe I wouldn't have done. I don't know, but also they were so desperate that I could see them get away with it. So, yeah. I know there was something else that I was going to say when I started talking about spoilers. Was the cop hot? Yes or no? Please comment and vote below. I will be going over the results later this week, so stay tuned for that on Instagram. Not happening, by the way. Let me tell you something. Not happening. But I still want to know if you thought he was hot, because I did. But anyway, yeah. I don't know what else to say. It was genuinely so good. I don't think it's my number one movie of the year, but it's definitely, if it's not number one, it's number two. So very good. I will rewatch very soon. I know for a fact. But yeah, it's like one of those movies too where it's like I could go on about it for a long time. I could go deep into like the different themes and the meanings that I see, but it's also like I just want you to experience it. And it's a cool movie to like sit and watch and have your own opinion be the guiding engine for what the movie has to say. Because I think there's a lot there. There's a lot that can be seen. One thing I will say is just like I loved seeing how information gave us a new perspective on every character. I never thought the same. A character was never the same in my head throughout the whole movie. Every single character evolved and changed when I got new information. And I loved that because that's so real life. It just is real life. We don't know what anyone's going through. Good people are bad people. Bad people are good people. It's all perspective. It's all information that we don't have. And so I really liked that. And there was a lot of different things like that in the movie. So definitely go see it. Go experience it for yourself and go take all of your friends because it's very fun in a packed theater. Very, very fun to hear people laughing and gasping. I was very vocal in the theater. I won't even lie to you. I was gagged. They wig, soup, bell, all of it gagged and scalped. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the movie if you saw it, or if you see it in a couple weeks, come back to this video, say hi, let me know. I will reply to everyone that comments on this video. Okay, you heard it here first. But shorter episode. I really didn't like write any thoughts down or anything. I literally just saw the movie like an hour ago. So we're doing, very raw video today. And also I'm literally, let me tell you something. What time is it? It is 11:41 and I have to get up pretty early tomorrow, and I'm about to go record another video where I listened to Ethel Cain's new album, which is an hour and 15 minutes long, plus me breaking for dialogue. Okay, you're starting to see where I'm getting nervous, but yeah, I'm so tired and I'm literally about to do that too. So hopefully you guys watch that video and this one and love it or list it. Leave a like, subscribe, blah, stupid things to say. But anyway, loved the movie. It's either going to be 4.5 or 5 stars. I haven't decided yet. I need to watch it again, but I'll talk to you later. Bye.